When I tell people I eat only meat, the most common question I get is, you don't eat any kind of vegetables? I can't believe it, you savage. Yeah, right. Do you poop ever? Are you trying to say you don't eat vegetables? Not at all. So you don't eat any vegetables? What do I eat if I only eat meat? Everyone thinks you have to be eating some kind of vegetable, but you really don't. And here's a couple of different ways that people eat on a carnivore style diet, and I'll tell you what I eat on a daily basis. The carnivore diet really doesn't have an exact definition. People are doing it in their own ways, and some people are super dogmatic about it and think it's only one way. When I got introduced to the carnivore diet, it was by people only eating beef and salt. And it works great for a lot of people. Just beef and salt. Like if I could afford ribeyes for every meal, I probably would try it too. Some people truly need this. Some people need no plant toxins at all in their body, and it works great for them. There's been people who have been doing this diet for like 20 plus years and showing no vitamin, mineral deficiencies. Some people eat a lot of their food raw. And when we're talking animals, we're talking adding a lot of animal byproducts like milk, cheese, eggs, making yogurt, kefir, things like this to help build beneficial bacteria and to help fight off other bacteria and viruses. People eat raw meat. I eat some raw meat, but not all of my food or a large portion of my food is raw. I enjoy and prefer most of my food cooked, but some of those things, like I said, I do enjoy raw. I have my own techniques for trying to keep safety there. I don't eat any dairy. It affects my skin. I have not tried it for over 10 weeks now. I don't know when I would, and if I did, it would probably be some kind of cheese, probably not cow. I just don't know yet. Not really interested because it would affect my skin pretty severely within 12 hours. The raw food camp also does eat relatively nose to tail. Nose to tail eating involves eating a large majority of the animal without allowing for waste. This is something more like our ancestors would have done. We would have eaten the marrow out of the bones. We would have boiled down the bones and made broths and soups. We would have eaten all of the muscle meats and organ meats, whatever we could salvage, and then the rest probably would go to our dogs or our packs, whatever we had with us. I believe the nose to tail style eating is ingrained in me. It feels the most natural and comfortable, and it's what I like. Most of my calories come from grass-fed local beef. I also eat chicken, pork, and some other meats. I'm going to start with beef and work my way down a list explaining what I eat from an animal, how I eat it, and what else I eat. So first, I'm going to start with beef. I eat a lot of beef, probably eat about 10 pounds of ground beef a week. Plus I eat liver 5 times a week. I eat tongue or heart every day if I can. Just having a little bit, or if I use it as a meal. I like to eat heart kind of like I could eat sashimi. I can eat it raw or just sear it, and it's really good. It's got this nice, just almost, it's like a fish texture to me because it's so soft and so tender. Except for when you get the little veins and arteries. That's not a big deal. It's good for you. Very high in vitamins. So I also eat bone marrow. Not all the time because it's expensive to get marrow bones, but it's so good. Raw marrow, salted, is one of the best things I've ever eaten in my entire life, if not the best thing. It's like butter, but better. Bone butter. Better bone butter? How's that sound? Better bone butter. I really like that. And I make bones into broth. Whatever left over, I always save bones, cartilage if I can't eat it. We'll make bone broth. So we'll make whatever. Now I use an Instant Pot. So what used to take 24 hours now takes like 3 hours into the jar, and it's so dope. And the house doesn't smell like soup all the time, which my wife doesn't like. Quote, Juno. Beef heart to me is not really an organ, it's more like a muscle meat. It is an organ. I can understand why people would feel like it's weird to eat it because we're not growing up eating it, but it's much more like a steak than it is anything like liver or a kidney or whatever else. It's not a filter like that, so it doesn't have that taste. It just has a normal muscle meat taste. I would be remiss if I didn't mention oxtail. It deserves an entire episode about how good it is. I'll roast oxtail and the cartilage breaks down, starts to melt. You get these fatty, delicious, meaty pieces that you get to chew on, and then I'll make broth with bones, which you get that like thick gelatiny, like it gets cold and it just shakes. It's sweet. Super good. It's my second favorite behind marrow. On to chicken. I eat a lot less chicken than I do beef. Sometimes I do crave it. I've been eating it the last couple days. I just felt like I really wanted chicken. I think sometimes when my body craves more protein and less fat, I can eat a lot more protein when it comes to eating chicken than, say, beef. My body just can smash chicken, which is why it's not super practical, because it's a lot more expensive for me to eat chicken. And it's normally just not that good. I don't want to eat a chicken compared to eating, a pound and a half ground beef. It's just not the same. But I do really enjoy chicken broth. The flavor of chicken broth is way easier to take down than beef broth. Chicken it's just a better flavor when it comes down to concentrating it. So that is one really good plus. I don't eat a lot of chicken organs. I just haven't really had an opportunity, but I do enjoy them. There's some things that I'd like to try, like chicken feet. I see that. Looks good. Looks probably like you're getting a lot of good collagen, things like that. So I'd like to try some of those things, but I just haven't yet. I do eat a good amount of fish, and the fish that I eat is mainly sardines and herring. Sardines I trust because they're small fish. They really aren't farmed fish. They don't need to be. There are a ton of sustainable companies out there that are catching sardines. I understand that there's always an impact that happens from commercial fishing, and but I feel more confident eating sardines than most other fish. The other one I would like to eat more often is Alaskan salmon, but it's really expensive here, and I don't really want to spend that kind of money all the time, so it's a treat, which is super cool. It's good. I like to eat all my salmon raw. I will cook it or sear a side. That's fine. Always good. But if I could eat raw fish every day, I would. The other thing is the herring. I think it's an underrated fish. It's relatively low in toxins.
Everybody loves bacon!
Bacon.
Who doesn't love bacon?
Did somebody say bacon?
I really enjoy bacon. And even more now when I'm only eating meat. It's a processed wonder. It really is. And then bacon grease, which I'm going to mention now instead of just in my category of fats. I eat a ton of bacon grease. I will use my bacon grease to cook a lot of other things. I will dip things in bacon grease. Liver never tasted as good as when you have bacon grease on it, so I use it. I remember anecdotal stories of people always on their farms soaking up bread in bacon grease and going out to work. Granted, I'm not a farmer. I don't work that hard. Times have changed, but I trust the intuition of wanting to consume the calories that were there and not waste. I think there's something extremely valuable in that, and that our bodies know more when we tune into some of those things. As far as pork, other than bacon, I really don't enjoy a whole lot of pork, but I will eat pork rinds. I ate them in college. They really hold me over. They're enjoyable. It's that snack, another processed thing. Of course, it's a pig. And so one other thing is prosciutto, which is to me like the cheese of the meats. That's what I think of when I'm eating it. Like I get to eat some stinky cheese or something. It's really enjoyable. I just introduced yolks into my diet. I've had duck and chicken, and so far I have not noticed negative effects from them. Maybe some drier skin, but it could be that I'm drinking way too much coffee, which I do, and it does dry my skin out. When I cut the amount in half, my dry skin is almost completely gone, but it's not the same type of psoriasis stuff that I get from these other foods that I've been eating. I drink wine, and I can drink it relatively liberally, and it does not hurt me. It does not affect me. It actually feels like it keeps my stomach more comfortable if I have like a glass a day, but I will take breaks purposefully in between. I think wine is another thing that if we lived here where I live, Minnesota, in the middle of the winter, I bet we would be drinking wine or ciders or something like that with our meat, and if we had a starch or something left, we'd probably be eating that too, but fatty ruminant buffalo would have taken up most of that, and probably some wine and some enjoyment. I still will drink kombucha as well. If I drink just green tea or black tea, I haven't found like that is very good for me, but if I sip on a kombucha, it's not that bad. And I also like mixing it with the red wine. I think the combination's great, and that really definitely helps my stomach. But I can't overdo the kombucha because I can physically tell honey. I will eat a teaspoon of honey before bed when I feel like it. It's not every day. Sometimes it was 3-4 weeks, then it's 5 days in a row. Doesn't really matter. Whatever I'm feeling, I will eat a little bit of honey before bed. We get raw honey from local farmers that I know, that I enjoy the different tastes of different honeys. My last guilty pleasure is Zevia sodas. They are so legit. I will drink cream soda and the ginger root beer, and I enjoy them quite frequently, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. And I really don't think that it affects me, but the problem is if I drink too many, I know it mixes up with my digestive juices and slows digestion. So that is a thing you have to be aware of. They are sweet to taste. They don't have the carbs. Zevia is delicious. If you take pork rinds and put bacon grease on them with prosciutto, I promise you won't be upset.